Good evening, everybody, and welcome into this week's edition of Southeast Tennessee High School Football Weekly. I am your host, Jeff Cade, and want to thank you all once again for taking time out of your busy evening to join us and talk some high school football and just have a little fun as well, right? So we're a few weeks into this thing, and we're going to recap, obviously, things that went on last week and look ahead to this week's action. And as you can see on the slide right here, we're going to have special guest. We'll be joined by Coach Moody. He is the head football coach for the McMinn Central Chargers, and going to have him on to talk a little bit about just a little bit everything, especially the Chargers' good start to the year, 3-1 on the season. So we're looking forward to talking to Coach Moody. That's going to be in segment number 2, so definitely stay tuned for that. In addition, and also just like every week in the final segment of the show, we're going to be announcing this week's 97 Sports Promotions Performance of the Week, and looking forward to seeing who is going to be named for that. So stay tuned for that in segment number 3. But I guess let's just dive right into this thing, right? It was week number 4 in this area, and we're going to pull up slides number 4 there. We'll kind of get started with this week's action. Region play definitely is getting cranked up, and there was a bunch of these games on Friday, and Cleveland with a big win over East Ridge there, 55-28. Red Bank and Saudi Daisy, we mentioned this last week, a pretty good rivalry that has gone back decades and generations really, and a lot of interesting things have gone on and off the field. And as you can see, Red Bank got the big 33-7 win over their rivals, the Saudi Daisy Trojans. Tyner, they're continuing their hot streak on the year, another shutout. And if you kind of tuned in last week, we mentioned that Coach Chandler promised his team after their shutout win over Marion County that they would get chicken wings if they shut out Marion County. Well, he mentioned that, hey, can he invest in a chicken farm? Anybody has a chicken farm he can invest in, because another shutout there, 42-0 over Brainerd. So definitely another shutout for Coach Chandler's squad. They keep rolling. They're undefeated on the year. One of the closer games and one of the matchups we talked about last week to keep an eye on was this Meigs County Signal Mountain game, right? Non-region, but still very compelling matchup. Meigs was up pretty big in the second half. Signal Mountain cut the lead to 5, and in the fourth quarter, but Meigs was able to make enough plays to win that game. As you can see, was a 28-23 Meigs County Tiger victory over the Signal Mountain Eagles there. And like we just mentioned, our guest tonight, Coach Moody, his squad got a big win over Polk County, 51-22. That was one I know that that region and him and that program circled, and we'll discuss more of that as we talk with Coach Moody in segment number 2. East Hamilton, big win over Sequoia, 48-6. Speaking of another shutout and big win, CCS, they keep things rolling, defeating Harding Academy 64-0. Remember, everybody, CCS's lone loss of the year was to McCallie, and that's in a couple weeks we'll talk about this game as we get closer. But I think the last week of September is going to feature a Boyd Buchanan CCS region game. That'll be a huge game, not just in this area, but across the state as well. So we'll definitely talk about that as that September 30th week rolls around. But Anderson County, they held on to defeat Ray County at home 41-38. Ray was behind. They closed the gap to 3, but like I said, with the Meigs County Signal Mountain game, Anderson County just making enough plays in the fourth quarter to get that win. Hayesville, North Carolina, 43-14 victories over Lookout Valley. And Boyd Buchanan, as we just mentioned here, they went out of their region last Friday night, getting a win at Howard, 38-0. So Boyd Buchanan stays undefeated on the year, and Gary Rankin's squad is looking strong, and they got a big region matchup this week we'll discuss when we look into our Week 5 matchups. We'll just go ahead and go to that next slide and recap the final of our Week 4 scoreboard here. Soap Creek, big 37-28 win over Harriman. That's a big win for Coach Ron Cox's squad, so congrats to the Panthers on that one. One of these games we talk about, we love seeing these, cross-border, matchups. Tennessee, Georgia, Tennessee, Alabama. We have a few of those this year. And Day County, 27-0 victory over Marion County at Marion County. So, 2 years in a row, Day County has gotten wins over Marion County schools. Last year against South Pittsburgh at Day County, and then this past week, a shutout victory over Marion County. That's the second. That's back-to-back shutouts that Marion County has, or games they have not been able to score points. So looking to see kind of how they respond. They got a big region game coming up. We'll discuss here in a matter of minutes. Bledsoe County, big win over Grundy County there, 50-8. Sequatchie County with a shutout victory over Jackson County, 48-0. Big win there for the Sequatchie County Indians. Silverdale, they got back on the winning track, defeating Lakeway Christian at Silverdale, 47-19. McCallie, we talk about these out-of-state games. West Broward traveled, made the track up I-75 to take on McCallie, and they went back south with a big 62-27 defeat at the hands of the Blue Tornadoes. So McCallie bounced back after that NBA loss and looking strong. And, like we mentioned there, a big region game for them coming up in a couple weeks. We mentioned the Boyd Buchanan CCS game. That's a big region game, but competing near there on the same night is going to be that McCallie-Baylor game. We'll dive into that, I'm sure, quite a bit over the next couple weeks. But Grace, they got a big 58-6 victory over Lighthouse Christian in the 8-man football league. Want to give Coach Thacker and the Golden Eagles of Grace some credit there. They had a great season last year and are off to a good start once again this year. And the second of the, I guess really the third, out-of-state matchup between involving one of our local teams. South Pittsburgh hosted Murphy, North Carolina. Jake West from Team FYN Sports talked about this game last week, and they went on the road to get a big win at South Pittsburgh, as you can see there, 34-28. So huge win there. Like we mentioned, two teams with a lot of history, 16 state championships between both of those teams, and Murphy going into a tough atmosphere, and over Campus University, one of their players was taken off the field, and he's going to be okay, which is a good thing. But prayers to that young man, and they definitely rallied around that and held on like you see right here, 34-28 victors over the South Pittsburgh Pirates. And the last game here from the Week 4 scoreboard was actually a game I was at, and that is Central traveling to Hickson and getting the 34-16 victory there over their region opponents there in Hickson. So as you can see right here, a big atmosphere. It was a great atmosphere, great to be back at Hickson's. First time I had covered a game there for the Coca-Cola Red Zone on talk radio, and talking to a guy who used to do the sideline stuff. His name is Red Zone Ron Hall. He said if you remember the names Bullocks, the Bullocks brothers who played college football at Nebraska after leaving Hickson and went on to the NFL, was the last time he covered a game there. So it's been a long time since Hickson has been showcased in a game like this. Both teams were undefeated, 1-0, going into region play. Several big plays. You can see here Tristan Odom's interception in the end zone. He made a couple of big plays on both sides of the ball. But as you can see right here, huge hits all night long. Ronnie Watson, the quarterback for the Central Purple Pounders, had a great night. 2 touchdowns, 1 rushing, 1 passing, and also, I forgot about this, 94-yard kickoff return after Coco Kendricks had a 68-yard touchdown run of his own near the end of the third quarter that cut the lead to 1 possession for Central. And then right, like we mentioned, right out of the gate there, this guy right here, number 7, Ronnie Watson, that was his touchdown run. Ran that kickoff back and really just kind of deflated any kind of comeback that Hickson had, but they still made some nice plays. You can see that touchdown catch near a post pounder right there. But the play of the night, I want to give this guy, Armour Perry Jr., in the fridge formation. There's my buddy Justin Sims and I said, shades of the 85 Bears in the Super Bowl, handing the ball off to the big fella and, rumbling into the end zone and getting a big touchdown there. But as you can see right here, obviously there was a bunch of, big plays on offense, such as this pass right here to Smith. But, like we mentioned as well, a lot of hard hits on defense. And it was a sloppy game throughout, early in the first half. Some penalties definitely set the tone back a little bit and, pushed each other back. But, for Central, they just made enough plays. 34-16, like I said, victors over the Hickson Wildcats, and they stay undefeated in region play. They got a big region matchup coming up this weekend that we're going to dive into here in our week number 5 look ahead. So I guess let's go ahead and go to that. We'll go to slide number 6 and kind of get that started off right here. Looking at that week number 6, jumping ahead a week. Week number 5 action here. So, obviously, there's 5 games that I will definitely, point out, and you can find those posted on the @SETN Weekly Twitter page. Again, that's @SETN Weekly for the show account. So, Baylor heading on the road to take on PJP2. That's Pope John Paul II. So, I think Baylor should win that game and get back to Chattanooga with a victory there. Here's a game right here that I'm going to be at for our game of the week for the Coca-Cola Red Zone as Boyd Buchanan at Silverdale, right? This is the first big region game in this area for Gary Rankin since taking over as the head coach of the Boyd Buchanan Buccaneers. They got that win a couple weeks ago at CAK. So that was the first region game for Coach Rankin as the Buccaneers head coach. But, for Silverdale looking to go back-to-back on Boyd Buchanan for the first time in school history. They got a win over at Boyd Buck last year in a really tight game, and I'm sure those players definitely remember that, and they're going to be using that for motivation. And, Boyd Buchanan's looking to stay undefeated, but on the flip side, Silverdale's looking to kind of put the first notch in the first loss there on Boyd Buchanan. So we'll definitely see how that goes over at Silverdale on Friday night. Should be a great matchup. Bradley Central hits the road taking on Hardin Valley. Coach Moody's squad, McMinn Central going on the road, take on Brainerd, big region game. That'll be interesting to see there because Brainerd has some pretty good athletes on both sides of the ball. And, we'll see if they're able to keep their momentum going and adding to their 3-1 start. Like we just talked about with Central, they hit the road taking on an undefeated Red Bank team. Red Bank has not lost a game in 2022, and both teams are undefeated in the region. So definitely another game to keep an eye on. Can Coach Jones and Coach Gatewood's squads, seeing them go at each other, this is going to be a fun game to keep track of. But another region game here, Notre Dame at CCS. We'll see if Notre Dame's able to kind of stop Boo Carter in that very explosive CCS offense. Cleveland hits the road up toward Knoxville to take on Farragut. Copper Basin takes on Sail Creek at Sail Creek. Hickson hosts East Ridge and looking for a bounce-back game after that loss last week to Central. Grundy County hits the road to take on Sequatchie County, and then another region game in 5A with McMinn County hosting the Howard Hustling Tigers. We'll go to the next slide here to kind of get the rest of the Week 5 schedule to look at here. Cannon County hits the road to take on Lookout Valley. Another game to keep an eye on right here. Bledsoe County traveling to Marion County. Can Marion County get off the deck and, actually get some points on Bledsoe County, but also kind of stop the bleeding with this 2-game losing streak. And this is a big region game. We talked about this a couple weeks ago. This region with not just Bledsoe and Marion, but, Meigs County and Tyner as well. These region games are really important. I mean, all region games are important across each region, but these right here in this 2A region are definitely going to be ones to keep an eye on. Speaking of traveling to Knoxville, we talked about, Cleveland heading up towards Farragut. McCullough gets on the road to take on the Knox Catholic Fighting Irish. Meigs County is looking to get back. I know they're looking forward to being back at Jewel Field hosting Tellico Plains. Ottawa hits the road to take on Ray County in a region matchup there in 5A. Another game to keep an eye on that you'll find at the @SETN Weekly Twitter page. Polk County hosting the Tyner Rams, big region game. Both of these teams are undefeated in their region. Polk got their first loss last week against McMinn Central. So, and for Tyner, they're looking to stay undefeated, not just in the region, but overall as well. So we'll see how Coach Davis and Coach Chandler's squads go at each other there in that game in Benton at Polk County. Signal Mountain going on the road, take on Loudon. Can Signal Mountain, rebound after that tough loss last week? They, most of their games, I think all 3 games they lost this year, the 1-3 on the year, have been by 1 possession. So, they've been in every single game they've been in. We'll see if they're able to kind of, get a consistent and cohesive game together and go on the road and get a big win against Loudon. Sequoia travels to Soddy Daisy. Another interesting matchup that I definitely want to keep an eye on. I think you should definitely keep an eye on too, or possibly attend. Whitwell, undefeated on the year, just overall and in the region, taking on South Pittsburgh. South Pittsburgh has pretty much owned this series. Then the last time Whitwell started out undefeated, 3-0, was the year they won the state championship back in 2018. So kind of looking to mirror the same outcome there. But this should be a very, very big game, big atmosphere. Another Marion County matchup. That it's not Marion County, South Pittsburgh, but still both sides are going to come out. The community is going to support it, so that should be a great atmosphere over there at Whitwell on Friday night. Smith County travels to Walker Valley. Walker Valley looking to get off the mat as well after losing to Carter last week. And then the final game here on the schedule this week is Chattanooga Prep at Liberty Creek. So we got a few minutes before the next break, and one thing that I do want to go over as well before we do that is, we mentioned the Tennessee Associated Press prep football polls. We've had several teams in it last week, and this week we'll kind of run through these. Bradley Central is in the 6A poll at number 7. And let's see, we'll move down to 5A. I apologize for not having this slide ready for you, Ryan, but McMinn County is on the doorstep. They have the most votes of teams not in the top 10, so they're at number 11 in the state in 5A. Ray County dropped out after losing last week to Anderson County. Red Bank, they moved up 2 spots last week from number 6 in 4A to the number 4 slot. So, that's going to be an interesting matchup there, like we mentioned with Central and Red Bank. Red Bank looking to keep things going there undefeated. Moving down to 3A, here's something very interesting right here. We've talked about, Sweetwater, Loudon, and all that, those two rivals. Sweetwater moving up one spot from last week in 3A. They were number 9. They moved up to number 8 this week. And to no one's surprise, Alcoa, 4-0 Alcoa, after their big win over Maryville, first time in a few years that they had, defeated Maryville. And the first game, in that series without Gary Rankin went the Alcoa Tornadoes' way. Moving down to 2A, the only local team that is checking in, number 2 in the 2A class is the Tyner Rams. They got 3 first-place votes. They're on the doorstep there with Hampton. They stayed at number 2 just like they did last week. And then back to 1A, South Pittsburgh was the lone team in 1A right here that was in the poll. They dropped a couple spots from number 6 to number 8, but they are still ranked in the top 10 in the Class 1A region. And then our Division 2s, right? Boyd Buchanan, they jumped 2 spots in that Class Division 2 AA from number 4 to number 2 in the state of Tennessee. Silverdale is going to be hosting a state-ranked Boyd Buchanan team, the number 2 team in Division 2 AA. And then to round it out, Division 2 AAA, like we mentioned last week, Baylor was number 2, McCallie was number 3. Yes, that's still the same way as last week, and Baylor getting 1 first-place vote. So outside of a couple of classifications, the Chattanooga area has teams represented in these top 10, top 5 polls. So definitely interesting to see how these teams continue to move their positions. I think they're more worried about playoff positioning and regions placement than getting a ranking in the poll, voted by us, Mina, because we don't know much about how these things go anyway, right? So anyway, we will go ahead and jump to a break real quick. And on the flip side, like we mentioned, we're going to be joined by Coach Moody, Matt Moody, the head football coach of the McMinn Central Chargers, and we're going to dive into his team's good start and kind of how he's adjusting to, from year 1 to year 2 being a head coach. And he took over the job last year. We'll kind of check in and see how things are going and kind of how things have been going since the transition there. So, again, I want to thank you all for tuning in. We're going to take a quick commercial break. You're tuned in to Southeast Tennessee High School Football Weekly, presented by Team FYN Sports.
97 Sports Promotions specializes in custom football mini helmets for any occasion. From gifts, player awards, banquet decor, and more, 97 Sports Promotions has you covered. And coaches, if you're looking for premium full-size decals for your game day helmets, the team at 97 Sports Promotions can do that too. Visit 97sportspromotions.com or call 865-318-1242. 97 Sports Promotions, proud sponsor of the Southeast Tennessee High School Football Weekly Performance of the Week.
At Circuit World, we offer a wide selection of major appliances, name brands like Whirlpool, LG, Frigidaire, and more. Looking for furniture? Come by and browse our showroom or check out the Endless Aisle, a touchscreen kiosk with thousands of options. Need electronics, gaming computers, laptops, desktops, tablets? We have it all. OLED or QLED, 4K or high def. We have the selection to get you the TV of your dreams. And don't forget, at Circuit World, your credit is always good. So ask about our convenient payment options and 120 days, same as cash. Come see us today at one of our 5 area locations.
Chattanooga Funeral Home, Crematory, and Florist, a Dignity Memorial provider, has been dedicated to service since 1933. With 4 funeral home locations, including East Chapel in East Ridge, North Chapel in Hickson, Valley View Chapel in Ottawa, and East Brainerd Chapel in East Brainerd, along with 2 cemeteries at Hamilton Memorial Gardens on Highway 153 in Hickson and Chattanooga Memorial Park in Red Bank. Call 423-698-2541 or visit their website at ChattanoogaFuneralHome.com. Celebrate your life or that of a loved one with a funeral and memorial service befitting the life lived. Chattanooga Funeral Home, Crematory, and Florist.
Are you looking for expertly decorated gifts you'll love with your custom design or logo? Graphic Expressions in Blue Ridge is your go-to place for custom apparel, accessories, gifts, and much more. Graphic Expressions is located at 3640 East 1st Street in Blue Ridge, or give them a call at 706-946-4605. Graphic Expressions, unrivaled customer service, pure brand awesomeness.
In 1981, Reed Nicholson began selling tires out of an old barn in Mineral Bluff. Little did he know that he had just laid the groundwork for the most trusted names in automotive services in the Blue Ridge area. In 1997, Nicholson Tire Center became what it is today, holding the same values of faith, family, and great customer service. 2 locations to serve you, and the Blue Ridge location is currently expanding to offer fast service and the largest U-Haul provider in Georgia. Nicholson Tire Center, Blue Ridge, and Mineral Bluff.
Gary Thacker Insurance is a family-owned and locally operated insurance agency that has been proudly serving North Georgia and the Chattanooga area for 25 years. If you're looking for an agency that is family-oriented, lives and works in your community, and is focused on making insurance less complicated, give my friend Jeremy Thacker and the team at Gary Thacker Insurance a call at 706-866-8283 or visit them on the web at GaryThackerInsurance.com. Gary Thacker Insurance, protecting what's important. Pardon the technical difficulties there, everybody. Want to welcome you all back to Southeast Tennessee High School Football Weekly. Might want to unmute my mic when I'm on break, right? So anyway, apologize for that. Pleased to be joined now by the head coach of the McMinn Central Chargers, and that is Matt Moody. And Coach, first of all, just thank you for taking the time during a busy game week to join us and talk for a few minutes. How's it going tonight?
Good, man. I appreciate you having me.
No doubt, and we'll dive into a little bit of everything. But I guess let's just go and get started with this. I mean, obviously, I guess just kind of recap your guys' season. 3-1 on the year, and had some nail biters there after the week 1 loss to McMinn County since then. So talk about your team's performance so far this year.
Yeah, look, we're all really excited. I have to brag on our senior group. Honestly, we've got a really good group of seniors that we've talked a lot about. Especially kind of how we started week 1, just the way that they've kind of led our team from then on. We had great weeks of practice and a lot of different guys taking advantage of opportunities that they've got early in the season. So just really impressed and proud of the leadership that we've got from that group. We have a large group. I think we've got 16 seniors on this team. So they're doing a great job and super proud of them.
Yeah, no doubt. And, looking at your guys' first 4 games, you guys took on a very talented McMinn County team, and that quite didn't go your guys' way. But ever since then, 3 straight victories, including the one region game sandwiched in the middle there, Signal Mountain, that 17-14 thriller up there. Let's talk about that game a little more in depth. There were some things going back and forth between you guys, and in the end, you guys just made enough play. Just talk about that performance in detail a little bit if you can.
Yeah, I think that was a big step for our program. Last year, early on, especially the first 5 games of the season, with Tellico week 2 and then Signal Mountain week 3, last year we had both of those games were 2-point losses. So I think getting a region win to start the season, and especially how we did it in a close game where we really had to grind it out, I think that was a huge step for our program in general. And those are the type games we've talked a lot about this season in our region. Really, pretty much everybody has an opportunity to win it. So those are the type games that we need to get used to, and it's good to see us kind of learning how to win those type games. Where last year, we let some opportunities slip. So just the growth of our guys from the off season last November when we started in the weight room and the off season program till now, just a huge step, for the program. So we were happy to, be able to get that win.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, you skip ahead, after that game, you had another kind of let's just call it an intense, really good atmosphere there with Polk County, just to say the least. Obviously that's a big rivalry game for you guys, and just reading a little bit about that game, just the atmosphere sounded like it was really incredible. And and just for people that don't know, Coach Davis was there, and a lot of those senior class guys that you just mentioned a few minutes ago played for Coach Davis, and I'm sure it was kind of remembering what they did for him, but also re-racking and remembering, hey, this is our team now, and we're playing for you. So kind of talk about how the players, I guess, more than obviously the fans were going to show up for that game for obvious reasons, for a couple of reasons, but just talk about your kids' performance and kind of getting dialed in and being focused and really taking it to Polk County last week.
Yeah, so first of all, I got to talk, Coach Davis. I've got a lot of respect for Coach Davis. My first 2 years that I was at Bradley, we actually played Polk County, and they beat us one of those years. So he does a really, really good job, with his program. He has for a long time, his first stint at Polk County, and he was off to a great start this year. But one of the things that we really tried to preach to our guys was that it is a rivalry game. And we knew that, our juniors and our seniors had played for Coach Davis, but we didn't want to make this like a McMinn Central versus Coach Davis type of deal. This has been a rivalry for a long time. Before I ever got to Central, before Coach Davis was at Central, it'll be a rivalry long after we're gone. And so we just wanted to make sure our guys understood this was Central versus Polk County. And it was important because it was our next game. Heading into a big region game this Friday, we thought it was really, really important that we kind of get a win that night, play really well, and carry that momentum that we've had the previous 2 weeks into another big region game this Friday. So, like I said, we just preached over and over and over. We've got to make sure that we're focusing on what we can do and let all that other stuff be talked about by the fans.
Yeah, no doubt. And like I mentioned before, and us media folks who don't know what the heck we're talking about, right? So, but anyway, and for people that don't know, this is your second year as the head coach of McMinn Central there. And,
right.
You mentioned your time at Bradley Central. That's where I first got introduced to you, and you were the offensive coordinator there for a few years. So I guess looking, what have been the biggest differences or biggest things you've learned that you've kind of applied to year two from year one?
I think, it being year two, number one, I got to talk about some of the staff that we've hired. With Josh Gooden coming back on board, he was a previous head coach with head coach experience. John Rektorovich we hired as our defensive coordinator. He was the previous head coach at Tellico. So we've got some guys on staff that have been in that role before. And so as just my second year being a head coach, there's things and situations that they've been through and they've seen and kind of been there and done that they can help me with because they've experienced that already. So that's been a big plus. Having those guys back out coaching has really helped, I think, our program. We also were able to hire, William Bailey, who's a former player at McMinn County on the defensive side of the ball. Eddie Lamb was a running back at Polk County. So we've made some additions to the coaching staff. Bobby Hinton was a defensive line that came from Tellico with Rektorovich. So just having some more staff out there helping has been a tremendous positive for our kids and our program. So I think that takes a lot off of the head coach's plate when you have guys capable of doing a lot of things that, maybe last year, was kind of something that I had to do a lot of. So I can do more of the head coaching duties now and kind of split things up. So everything's working really well with those new staff additions. But then again, in year two, it's a little bit easier because of, I talked earlier about the guys that we have coming back. So last year, the system that they had played in before I got there, the Coach Davis, kind of the wing tee, the smash mouth, run right at you is really a completely different style than what we do now. And, having to kind of start from scratch and coach a lot of things in a short amount of time last year was difficult. So when we get into spring practice and on to the season now, the things that the guys remember, we're not having to teach, just the start from scratch, I would say. It's been a lot different from everybody involved in the program as far as, what's expected of you and specific responsibilities and things like that. So year two, much different than year one. But there's a lot that goes into that and a lot of help that's made that possible.
No doubt. So you mentioned about, before you got there, they ran the wing tee with Coach Davis. Are you kind of using the same offense you ran at Bradley Central, or is it a little combination of both and playing to your team's strengths, or just explain to our audience what kind of offense you guys are running up there at McMinn Central.
Yeah, so we're really really similar to a lot of the stuff that we did when I was at Bradley. We've kind of tailored it a little bit to kind of fit our skill set, but for the most part, it's pretty much the same. So we're a spread offense. We've incorporated this year a lot of tempo stuff. We've had some guys come out to play this season that didn't play last season, so it's helped us depth wise, where every player now doesn't have to go both ways. We've got, pretty much for the most part an offense and a defense. And when you get into the backups, obviously some guys have got to, move over and play both ways for that reason. But, I think the biggest change is from, the previous style that they ran where they wanted to control the clock and it was a slow tempo and speed the game up that way. For us, this season we've moved and we want to run as many plays as we can. And which has really caused, for me that calls the plays, I've had to simplify kind of what we do offensively, and it benefits what we have at Central a little more. So, I'm proud of the guys for buying into what we want to do. And so far it's, we figured a couple of things out.
Yeah, definitely for sure. That after, like I mentioned, off that 3-1 start, and I guess that's one thing I kind of wanted to ask you, there too. If you look back over the last probably decade or so, before you got to McMinn Central, not consistently winning, right? I mean, looking back at the first 3-1 start you guys have had since the 2014 season, which was the last 10-win season, I believe, for the Chargers there. Talk about kind of the culture and the change that, I guess it's really a credit to your student athletes and I guess the program as a whole buying in to, what you guys are trying to instill there at McMinn Central.
Yeah, absolutely. So I can tell you this from day one that I got to campus last year, the guys have, one thing that I don't remember us ever having a coach is attitude and effort. And, we've preached from the beginning, if they'll come to work every day and practice and buy in, that we could get this thing turned around. And again, I've got to credit this senior class. There's a huge class of them, 16, and that's huge for a 3A school like us. That's a big class. But they are super as far as setting an example and holding these young guys accountable and kind of showing them how this thing is supposed to work. So their want to win. We've never had to coach that. We've never had to coach effort. They have shown up from day one, like I said, in the weight room and wanted to get better and wanted to win. And I think that you're starting to see kind of the fruits of that this year, which is a good thing. Just that all that hard work that we've been after now for a year and a half is starting to pay off. So that's really good to see.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, I was looking over your schedule for this year, and obviously, the region schedule is a region schedule, right? But looking outside of the region, you're playing teams like McMinn County, and one thing I had totally forgotten about until I just looked at the schedule today was the next county, right? So, I mean, what's your philosophy about non-region games? Is it, I guess, just whatever you guys can find? Is it teams you want to play that are going to get you ready for the playoffs, or is it a combination of both, or what is your philosophy in that regard?
I think it's a little bit of a combination. I think it's a little bit a combination of both. Now, I've never had to schedule before, so going into this next season, this is the first time that I've actually had to put together a schedule. So this was done already, the year that I got here. But I do think it's a combination of both. There's certain rivalry games that you have that you want to continue to play. For us, we obviously want to continue to play Polk County. I've talked to Coach Davis, and he thinks the same way. Meigs County is another one that's a big rivalry. It's been a rivalry with Central for a long time, so hopefully we can continue to play that one. And then there's just other games that sometimes you just want to play because you hadn't played them in a while and things like that. You have to start thinking about home games for gate money and things like that. Who can we play where we're going to benefit financially from that as well? We don't want to travel an hour and a half away for a non-region game if we can help it. So there's a lot that goes into scheduling. Sometimes you just kind of have to play whoever you can play. If your open dates don't line up or your region dates are certain and they've already got games, that can be a hassle. So I've heard, but we'll find out this season. But yeah, you schedule teams for a lot of different reasons, but our main rivalry local games, we certainly want to keep those.
Yeah, that's definitely a good thing. And And that's one thing I totally forgot too when we were talking about that is, I guess where the holes in the schedule meet, because you can like, okay, let's play this team, and then you reach out to them like, we don't have anything except for X, Y, and Z,
Yeah.
and you guys may be on fall break or something like that. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And or you just your open date doesn't work out that way. So that's definitely a good thing, or not a good thing, but something to carefully keep in mind. So that's interesting, because I mean, the way you made it sound like it's not just filling a schedule, it's more like a game, because like you said, you want to have your gate money games, but you don't want to travel to Memphis for a non-region
Right.
game. So
And this year,
I guess,
from what I've heard, I think from what we've heard is the TSSAA are going to set our region schedules. So we don't know what those are yet. So kind of, when you make a call to a team and ask if they want to play, it's almost like you're calling blindly, because you don't really know what dates you're going to have open and when this region thing is going to be. But from what I've heard, I think we should know close to the end of September what our region schedule, or at least region dates, will be anyways.
Well, Matt, not only are you a head football coach, you're also a sales guy making cold calls, not knowing what's going to happen in the future, right? So,
Right.
But this program, I don't know how much you've kept up with this or not, but we have a Performance of the Week award every week, and the company that sponsors that is 97 Sports Promotions, and I know you know this guy very well from your time back at Maryville, and that's Doug Carter. I told him I'd have to ask a question. So give me something that can be said on this show, a really good Doug Carter 97 Sports Promotions story. Just embarrassing.
Oh, my gosh. Listen, I wish that you would have told me you were going to ask this before, because I could have really thought of something good. But I will say this, and I promised him I would do this. I have to mention the decals that he made for us, and just how amazing those decals are. What a headache it was for me to have to put those on, the helmets. But amazing decals, and obviously it's brought us some luck this year. So anybody out there listening that needs decals on helmets, Doug's your guy.
Well, and Doug, I know you're going to be watching this when this broadcast live. You better send me a little bit of extra in addition to the helmets I sold for you, pal. So,
that's exactly
good
right.
stuff. No, that's good stuff. Yeah, definitely. Not just that, but the mini helmets. You've seen the mini helmets too, Matt. I know you guys have done fundraisers with them, and that's kind of an important thing.
Yeah.
So, but I guess let's just dive into this week's matchup. I mentioned it in the last segment. Going on the road, coming down to this area, taking on a very athletic Brainerd team. The last couple of years have been back-to-back men's central wins. I think it's the first time they've won back-to-back games. I think it's the first two wins in school history for the Chargers over the Brainerd Panthers. So looking to keep looking for a three-peat, looking to go back-to-back. So just give us a couple of keys to that game. What you think you guys have to do to come down here and get a win in a big region game?
Well, I think for the last they've played, it's been pretty close. From what I know, last year it was 20-18. The year before, I think Central had a really narrow win. They may have had to bat a ball down in the end zone at the end of the game to win. And then our athletic director today, Brent Massengale, was telling me about 3 years ago, I think Brainerd scored really late to win one that was really close. So we expect a tight game. Brainerd is tremendously athletic. They've got guys all over the field that can score anytime they touch the ball when they're on offense. And they make a lot of plays, that typically other teams don't make just because they're so athletic. I know they've got a new coach this year that was on staff last year, and his son has transferred in. That's a really, really good player for them, highly recruited. So, we've definitely got our work cut out for us. And kind of what we've preached all week is we just got to make sure that we're staying disciplined and focusing on the things that we can control. And if we go in there and, have a bunch of mental breaks and then penalties and let them hang around, that they're certainly good enough to beat us. So in order for us to win, we just got to make sure that we're going in there mentally focused, playing assignment football, playing with the tempo that we want to play with, minimizing mistakes and penalties, and hopefully try to give ourselves a chance to win.
Yeah, no doubt. And just looking over, for anybody that knows Brainerd's schedule, I mean, they're 1-3 on the year, but they've played three really interesting non-region games. They had a really close 17-14 loss to a region opponent there in Kingston, so you know about them as well. But Bradley Central, Howard, and Tyner, so it's kind of like a situation with you guys. They're not afraid to play some of these teams that that are non-region, really tough games to kind of get themselves ready. But like you mentioned, this series has been really close, Matt. Last year was that 2-point win. In 2020, it was 26-22. McMinn Central with the win. Then the year before that, like you mentioned, in 19, that was a 38-36 Brainerd victory there. So the last 3 games have been really competitive, and I think you're definitely going to see that on Friday. So anybody in the area, you're looking for a good, hard-hitting region football game, head over to Brainerd and see, you guys and Brainerd go at it. And, it should be – I think it'll be another close one too.
Yeah, and that's I think I mentioned it earlier before, and we've talked all season. The coaching staff is the teams in our region are so evenly matched. You can expect every region game that we play, at least for us, that it's going to be a grind and a close game, and it's going to come down to a lot of little things at the end of the game in order for us to win.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, before we let you go, I kind of want to throw a little a 3 and out type thing.
Okay.
This is very easy. Don't worry about it. I'm going to ask you your favorite memory at Maryville College. That's one. Or most memorable moment there.
Okay.
Besides me and Doug.
You want to go now, or you want to do all 3? Go now. Favorite memory at Maryville College. Golly, listen, I have several. I tell you, speaking of Doug, we used to take a trip every year down to McDonough, where Doug was from, and go to a Braves game. There was a big group of us that would go down and stay at his house with his mom and dad and sister. Great family, great people. But that's something that we really look forward to every year. We had a blast. Like I said, it's a big group of us, just a fun time going and spending the weekend down there. And to eat at the original Shane's Rib Shack, I think, was big for them down there that we would do, and then head out to a Braves game. Yeah, that's it. Shout out to Shane's. But like I said, so many great memories there. But we'll throw one to Doug there. Doug, him and his family, great people, love them to death, and that was always a fun trip for us.
And then the final 2 things: your favorite memory as the offensive coordinator or assistant coach at Bradley, and your favorite memory so far as the head coach at Minden Central.
Okay. Bradley, I would have to say probably my favorite memory was I wasn't the coordinator of this. This is the year before I got the coordinator's job, but we were playing a second-round playoff game, there at Dobbins Bennett, and first time that we had won 10 games in a season. We had to score. We had to kick an onside kick and recover it, and then go down and score again to win the game. But probably the most fun game maybe that I've ever been a part of was that one, winning in the second round and getting to advance to the third round there. Favorite memory at Central so far. I would have to say, probably the first win that we got last year at Polk County. Just it being the first one and understanding how hard these guys have worked, and us being so close to getting a win the 2 weeks prior to that, losing by 2 points and having a chance to tie the game 2 weeks in a row, and having to go for 2 and not getting it, just the heartbreak you feel when you lose those type of games. So the next week, going down to Polk County and it being a rivalry game, and just the first victory that we got together probably is going to stick with me for a while.
Well, that's good stuff, man. Well, Matt, thank you so much for taking the time. Like I mentioned, during a busy game week, especially with a big road game in the region coming up this Friday night. But definitely appreciate you taking the time, and hopefully you come back and talk to us again real soon. All right?
Sounds good. Thanks, Jeff.
All right, thank you. Matt Moody, head coach of the McMinn Central Chargers. Like I said, off to a good start, 3-1 in the year, looking to continue that against Brainerd this week. But we're going to take another quick commercial break, and on the flip side of this, Week 4 winner of the 97 Sports Promotions Performance of the Week Award will be announced here in our final segment. You're tuned in to Southeast Tennessee High School Football Weekly. We'll be right back.
97 Sports Promotions specializes in custom football mini helmets for any occasion. From gifts, player awards, banquet decor, and more, 97 Sports Promotions has you covered. And coaches, if you're looking for premium full-size decals for your game day helmets, the team at 97 Sports Promotions can do that too. Visit 97sportspromotions.com or call 865-318-1242. 97 Sports Promotions, proud sponsor of the Southeast Tennessee High School Football Weekly Performance of the Week.
At Circuit World, we offer a wide selection of major appliances, name brands like Whirlpool, LG, Frigidaire, and more. Looking for furniture? Come by and browse our showroom or check out the endless aisle, a touchscreen kiosk with thousands of options. Need electronics, gaming computers, laptops, desktops, tablets? We have it all. OLED or QLED, 4K or high def. We have the selection to get you the TV of your dreams. And don't forget, at Circuit World, your credit is always good. So ask about our convenient payment options and 120 days same as cash. Come see us today at one of our 5 area locations.
Chattanooga Funeral Home, Crematory, and Florist, a dignity memorial provider, has been dedicated to service since 1933. With 4 funeral home locations, including East Chapel in East Ridge, North Chapel in Hickson, Valley View Chapel in Ottawa, and East Brainerd Chapel in East Brainerd, along with 2 cemeteries at Hamilton Memorial Gardens on Highway 153 in Hickson and Chattanooga Memorial Park in Red Bank. Call 423-698-2541 or visit their website at ChattanoogaFuneralHome.com. Celebrate your life or that of a loved one with a funeral and memorial service befitting the life lived. Chattanooga Funeral Home, Crematory, and Florist.
Are you looking for expertly decorated gifts you'll love with your custom design or logo? Graphic Expressions in Blue Ridge is your go-to place for custom apparel, accessories, gifts, and much more. Graphic Expressions is located at 3640 East 1st Street in Blue Ridge, or give them a call at 706-946-4605. Graphic Expressions, unrivaled customer service, pure brand awesomeness.
In 1981, Reed Nicholson began selling tires out of an old barn in Mineral Bluff. Little did he know that he had just laid the groundwork for the most trusted names in automotive services in the Blue Ridge area. In 1997, Nicholson Tire Center became what it is today, holding the same values of faith, family, and great customer service. 2 locations to serve you, and the Blue Ridge location is currently expanding to offer fast service and the largest U-Haul provider in Georgia. Nicholson Tire Center, Blue Ridge, and Mineral Bluff.
Gary Thacker Insurance is a family-owned and locally operated insurance agency that has been proudly serving North Georgia and the Chattanooga area for 25 years. If you're looking for an agency that is family-oriented, lives and works in your community, and is focused on making insurance less complicated, give my friend Jeremy Thacker and the team at Gary Thacker Insurance a call at 706-866-8283 or visit them on the web at GaryThackerInsurance.com. Gary Thacker Insurance, protecting what's important. Welcome back to Southeast Tennessee High School Football Weekly. I want to thank Coach Moody once again for taking the time to join us here this week and talk about the Men's Central Chargers. If you're in the area, definitely go out and check out his team. They got a much improved team, and but buying into what Coach Moody and the staff over there at the Men's Central are doing. So I want to thank you all once again for taking the time to join us this week, and just looking forward to another great week of high school football action in this area, and just see what kind of performances we have coming up this week. But speaking of performances, we're going to now announce the winner of this past week's 97 Sports Promotions Performance of the Week. A lot of great nominations were sent in to our at SETN Weekly Twitter handle through messages, and people that have reached out to me and just kind of mentioned, hey, what about this guy or this team right here? And after looking over over the last few weeks, and we, threw it out to a couple of the people I know, we decided to give it to this guy right here. His name is Drew Lambert, and he is the quarterback for the Cleveland Blue Raiders. And, just an incredible night. I think, 6 total touchdowns, 5 passing touchdowns, one rushing, and just, definitely had a great night there for the Cleveland Blue Raiders. They got that big win over the East Ridge Pioneers, and just trying to find his numbers. It blanked out on me real quick. I apologize for that. So again, just like I said, Drew Lambert had a big night through the air, 12 of 16, 285 yards total passing, 5 passing touchdowns, and one, like I mentioned, another one on the ground. So 6 total touchdowns on the night, in addition to his 12 of 16 effort through the air, 285. So congratulations once again to Drew Lambert, like I mentioned, the quarterback of the Cleveland Blue Raiders, and a 97 Sports Promotions custom mini helmet is on your way, kind of as a little gift from us to you, and kind of remembering and commemorating your efforts on your as Cleveland defeated East Ridge this past week. And just a reminder once again, slide number 9 right here, just if you have a nomination for 97 Sports Promotions Performance of the Week, you can go to our Twitter page at SETN Weekly on Twitter. And then once again, you can also use the hashtag 97POTW to send those nominations in. Definitely looking forward to seeing more of those great efforts coming up here over the next few weeks as region play really gets cranked up and the push for playoff positioning and playoff spots, for that matter, intensifies. There are guys like Josh Jackson at Tyner, Drew Lambert at Cleveland right here, just to name a few that have had some stellar performances through the first half or the first quarter of this year. So definitely a lot of good performances out there, like I mentioned. So definitely go out and check out a local high school football game near you. So, but like I mentioned, you can follow us here at SETN Weekly on Twitter. That's the show account. Like I mentioned, you can send your nominations in for the performance of the week right there. You'll find, our 5 games to watch every week and just other, high school football content, whether, the show is liking it, retweeting it, or posting different information about our sponsors. We definitely want to thank, our sponsors once again, who have joined us this year. Gary Thacker Insurance, Zach Engel with Best and Brock, 97 Sports Promotions, and Chattanooga Funeral Home, Crematory, and Florist. Want to thank each and every one of those for joining us this year and allowing us to, spotlight these programs, these communities, and these coaches like Coach Moody. And I know that they're appreciative of that, and that's what we're here for, right? These guys are the stars. We just want to give them put a spotlight on those guys, right? So definitely want to thank all those guys, and just thank all of you as well. You guys have definitely have given me some good feedback. Some good and bad, like not unmuting myself after the first segment. Definitely ready to hit the film room, knowing when to make sure I unmute my mic. So definitely thank you again for bearing with the technical difficulties. I want to give a shout out to our producer Ryan as well. You can't see him right now, but he's done a great job through these first 4 or 5 shows, and making me in this space for radio look and sound as good as you can. So definitely want to give him a special shout out, because it's a lot of hard work putting all these slides and all these things, making sure everything fires off correctly. So want to give a special shout out to him back at Master Control, as we call it. So once again, I want to thank you, each and every one of you, for tuning in to this week's edition of Southeast Tennessee High School Football Weekly, here presented by Team FYN Sports. I want to thank them once again for giving us a platform to showcase not just my area, but the next couple shows with North Carolina and Georgia. Obviously, please stay tuned here to FYNTV.com and the FYN TV app for Inside the Smoky Mountain Conference and the North Georgia High School kickoff show. Tim Talent and Jake West and company, they have you all covered there. So just like I said, just be sure and stay tuned in for those shows, Inside the SMC and the North Georgia High School kickoff show, coming up next from Team FYN Sports. Have a good week.
97 Sports Promotions specializes in custom football mini helmets for any occasion. From gifts, player awards, banquet decor, and more, 97 Sports Promotions has you covered. And coaches, if you're looking for premium full-size decals for your game day helmets, the team at 97 Sports Promotions can do that too. Visit 97sportspromotions.com or call 865-318-1242. 97 Sports Promotions, proud sponsor of the Southeast Tennessee High School Football Weekly Performance of the Week.
At Circuit World, we offer a wide selection of major appliances, name brands like Whirlpool, LG, Frigidaire, and more. Looking for furniture? Come by and browse our showroom or check out the endless aisle, a touchscreen kiosk with thousands of options. Need electronics, gaming computers, laptops, desktops, tablets? We have it all. OLED or QLED, 4K or high def. We have the selection to get you the TV of your dreams. And don't forget, at Circuit World, your credit is always good. So ask about our convenient payment options and 120 days, same as cash. Come see us today at one of our 5 area locations.
Chattanooga Funeral Home, Crematory, and Florist, a Dignity Memorial provider, has been dedicated to service since 1933. With 4 funeral home locations, including East Chapel in East Ridge, North Chapel in Hickson, Valley View Chapel in Ottawa, and East Brainerd Chapel in East Brainerd, along with 2 cemeteries at Hamilton Memorial Gardens on Highway 153 in Hickson and Chattanooga Memorial Park in Red Bank. Call 423-698-2541 or visit their website at ChattanoogaFuneralHome.com. Celebrate your life or that of a loved one with a funeral and memorial service befitting the life lived. Chattanooga Funeral Home, Crematory, and Florist.
Are you looking for expertly decorated gifts you'll love with your custom design or logo? Graphic Expressions in Blue Ridge is your go-to place for custom apparel, accessories, gifts, and much more. Graphic Expressions is located at 3640 East 1st Street in Blue Ridge, or give them a call at 706-946-4605. Graphic Expressions, unrivaled customer service, pure brand awesomeness.
In 1981, Reed Nicholson began selling tires out of an old barn in Mineral Bluff. Little did he know that he had just laid the groundwork for the most trusted names in automotive services in the Blue Ridge area. In 1997, Nicholson Tire Center became what it is today, holding the same values of faith, family, and great customer service. 2 locations to serve you, and the Blue Ridge location is currently expanding to offer fast service and the largest U-Haul provider in Georgia. Nicholson Tire Center, Blue Ridge, and Mineral Bluff.
Gary Thacker Insurance is a family-owned and locally operated insurance agency that has been proudly serving North Georgia and the Chattanooga area for 25 years. If you're looking for an agency that is family-oriented, lives and works in your community, and is focused on making insurance less complicated, give my friend Jeremy Thacker and the team at Gary Thacker Insurance a call at 706-866-8283 or visit them on the web at GaryThackerInsurance.com. Gary Thacker Insurance, protecting what's important.
'97 Sports Promotions specializes in custom football mini helmets for any occasion. From gifts, player awards, banquet decor, and more, 97 Sports Promotions has you covered. And coaches, if you're looking for premium full-size decals for your game day helmets, the team at 97 Sports Promotions can do that too. Visit 97sportspromotions.com or call 865-318-1242. 97 Sports Promotions, proud sponsor of the Southeast Tennessee High School Football Weekly Performance of the Week.
At Circuit World, we offer a wide selection of major appliances, name brands like Whirlpool, LG, Frigidaire, and more. Looking for furniture? Come by and browse our showroom or check out the endless aisle, a touchscreen kiosk with thousands of options. Need electronics, gaming computers, laptops, desktops, tablets? We have it all. OLED or QLED, 4K or high def. We have the selection to get you the TV of your dreams. And don't forget, at Circuit World, your credit is always good. So ask about our convenient payment options and 120 days, same as cash. Come see us today at one of our 5 area locations.
Chattanooga Funeral Home, Crematory, and Florist, a Dignity Memorial provider, has been dedicated to service since 1933. With 4 funeral home locations, including East Chapel in East Ridge, North Chapel in Hickson, Valley View Chapel in Ottawa, and East Brainerd Chapel in East Brainerd, along with 2 cemeteries at Hamilton Memorial Gardens on Highway 153 in Hickson and Chattanooga Memorial Park in Red Bank. Call 423-698-2541 or visit their website at ChattanoogaFuneralHome.com. Celebrate your life or that of a loved one with a funeral and memorial service befitting the life lived. Chattanooga Funeral Home, Crematory, and Florist.
Are you looking for expertly decorated gifts you'll love with your custom design or logo? Graphic Expressions in Blue Ridge is your go-to place for custom apparel, accessories, gifts, and much more. Graphic Expressions is located at 3640 East 1st Street in Blue Ridge, or give them a call at 706-946-4605. Graphic Expressions, unrivaled customer service, pure brand awesomeness.